Hello, it is episode 8 of Shadow of a Ghost, the Planet Raygun campaign playtest, and we are here inside the facility, inside Stugg Kibeo's crime palace itself, or within the walls of Stugg Kibeo's crime palace. The Crime Palace is sort of like a fairy tale castle if it had been conceived by a murderous crime lord from space. A dozen slender spires reach high into the sky, dozens of levels above any other structure. Most of the facility is a massive sphere. It's slowly rotating with a single wraparound balcony and row of windows perched near the top. It's patrolled by guards, and a five-story wall rings the compound, which we have successfully snuck past. Leland Zero has snuck off on his own to presumably eliminate any Terranors within the city, which would presumably be Jane Doe 2.0. So maybe he's just keeping his distance to prevent himself from the urge to eliminate Jane Doe 2.0. Whatever the case, that is where Leland Zero is. But the rest of the crew continues on the main thread of its heist. You have landed on the other side of this wall, and you I think you see where you are ultimately going to be trying to get to, which is Cabeo's Ascent. You are at the base of the palace. You can see this single tube lift that runs straight through the heart of the sphere to Cabeo's suite. Surrounding that lift, though, there are these gigantic spinning orreries, the sort of like celestial like models, but huge. Uh, some of the celestial bodies, the planets on there, appear to be eyeballs, kind of robotic eyes that are watching everything that is going around. Uh, Help me paint the scene here, everyone. You're free to move about this area, but wait, aside from the orreries, what's keeping an eye on you and the lift?
Lizard hounds, just
Of
peeking out
course.
from nooks in the walls and wandering around free.
I love it.
Uh, Smart smoke. There are people smoking cigarettes, and the clouds of smoke are like little,
Like
like nano machines
nanobots.
that record.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
The floor, when you walk on it, the ground, it records your footsteps, your footprints as you
Mm-hmm.
go.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's also some rival gangsters who are put in some stocks. Like it's a small city, and eliminating all of your competition probably isn't good long term. So when Stugg's gangsters sometimes come out on top in a gang conflict, they take prisoners briefly and put them in decorative stocks that are it may be in keeping with the fairy tale princess castle theme. Maybe they look like amusement park cutouts, so they're bound, but they're also in panoramic decorative scenes, just with faces cut out so that they're playing fawns, woodland animals, other characters.
Hmm.
Behind the panorama, of course, they're well tied up until they have paid their debt to Stugg Cabello and his associates and can be kicked back out into the city.
I almost like the idea of like paying that debt would be like spotting someone trying to
Hmm.
sneak into
Yeah, you can
the
shorten your
ascent.
time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, Beyond that, there are reflecting pools in this area. There's probably some lizard hounds lapping up some water out of the reflecting pools. You hear among these people smoking these nanobot cigarettes, these smart smoke. Uh, you hear quiet conversations. The floors that are recording these footsteps are made of marble. And yeah, we have this sort of like uh, these this beautiful artwork, these panoramas with criminals in it. Aside from the ascent, the other locations here that I think you can see from where you are what's called collections. And so this is where if you have a job ticket, you can come here to the collections courtyard and turn in your ticket, get paid, turn in your loot, whatever you have gotten from your particular task, your particular bounty. And then there is what is called the lower 88. And that is, I think there's a more freely accessible center of the main sphere, and that's where there are 88 rooms where the Kibeo Syndicate runs the business of being a crime syndicate within the lower portion of this giant sphere. So those are some places that you might. If you wander off from the ascent here itself, that you might nose around to get a better lay of the land. Do a quick go around here. What's everybody thinking about doing? Or do we feel confident enough to just push on to the ascent here? Or do we want to get a lay of the land? How are people approaching it? Oh, and a quick question for Trip. You have a contact somewhere here within the facility. Who is that person?
I have come up with the name Jarek Gladhand Mechadomo.
Ooh,
I feel like he is I kind of think of Stub Caballo's place as like part casino, part like lounge. I don't know if that's actually true or not. So I have him either as a croupier or like greeter or something like that. Um
yeah.
um Other things that I thought of was cybernetic brain and hands
Okay.
in an organic body, and oily and grasping is what I wrote down for characterization. But you can do with that what you will.
Cool. I think that yeah, like let's establish Jarek Gladhand Mechadomo as in this sort of like courtyard area outside the ascent as sort of as you've described, like an greeter for people who are going up to actually meet Kibeo in his suite, whatever is going on up there. I assume that that is who you are going to go and contact. All right, we will come back around to that. What's everyone else up to here?
I plan on using the piston gauntlet to punch a hole in the wall so that Trunga can get through, because I did promise him I would get him through the wall.
So you're working on just punching a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
All right.
I think
Um,
it's easier because they're the walls to keep people out. It's going to be
Sure.
easier to punch a hole from the inside to the out because it's going to have more weaknesses.
Yeah, that's fair. I think this is going to take a long time. This is a very big wall. There's a reason that you didn't just use the piston gauntlet to get in. And
Okay,
yeah,
I'm going to
okay.
find somebody to pay to do this for me or bribe.
Oh, okay. Are you thinking more of a like a freelance gang member or more of someone who is like within the syndicate?
Probably a freelance gang member. I don't want to get us into too much trouble with the
Okay.
syndicate just yet. I
Yeah,
don't
so
want us
maybe
to
you
be
head
on the
over.
radar, so to speak.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah. Maybe you head over to collections then because
Yeah.
I think you can already see there's a lot of folks waiting in line to turn in job tickets and bounties and all of that kind of thing. Fix and hijack.
When I did my how did you make your reputation with
Mhm.
the syndicate? I did a flashback to the crime palace, so I think it's quite possible that I at least have been a familiar face here at least once or might remember my way around. So I was probably going to head into the lower 88 and pretend like I'm doing doctor's rounds and follow-ups or
Oh,
soliciting.
wonderful. Yeah.
Hijack might accompany Jane Doe if Jane's amenable to that. maybe having someone who looks like they already work for Stugg Kibeo
Oh, you're
might
still
help.
in your zookeeper outfit.
Yeah.
Uh, I love this. Let's start there. The two of you are heading over to the two collections. The As described, like this is just an open courtyard. This is where payouts are provided, goods are transferred. It all runs very calmly, very efficiently, and you see that there are guards that are escorting assessors, essentially individuals who will survey whatever is being brought, make sure that it is the actual real goods, confirm that the payout is valid, and give them their credit. Uh, there are loading docks, there are storage cages everywhere, and there's this queue of people, gang members, freelancers, bounty hunters, waiting to cash in receipts at the center of the collections facility. Um, Help me paint the scene here, everyone. What impressive loot has some gang scored that reinforces the Kibeo Syndicate and the gangs themselves are dangerous people?
Just a cart full of right arms.
A brass band?
Hmm.
Like they stole a band?
A whole band?
Yeah. Instruments and all? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
In one of the, or in a couple of the cages around, there are some of the elected officials from the city who are,
Oh,
they seem to be mostly comfortable, but the fact that Stugg Kibeo literally owns them says a lot.
yeah.
There is a large crystal that is the power supply for Artex Prime, which is a planet, and this is the originally was the power supply for the planet, and they've just tossed it aside here in this area.
Ooh, I like that. Sort of like a mechanical core, like of the planet. Um, yeah, among the brass band, the power core, the pile of right arms, and the elected officials in their cages. There's heavy weaponry, and you can see a lot of like the freelancers are wearing concealing their faces in some way, helmets, scarves, whatever, just to try and like be a little bit off the radar. Um, Unlike you all, and you are walking into the scene. How are you approaching it? To narrate a little bit for us, role play a little bit of you entering this scene, and I will add characters as needed.
Can you explain to me again why we're helping this Trunga Tort into where we're trying to get out of?
Because I told him we would.
And
And I think it will piss Bor-Oran off. You see, you may not have noticed, but she and I have some animosity towards each other. More her towards me. I just don't want to see her win. I
I
want
thought you
Trunga
said
to
she
win.
wouldn't be a problem anymore.
Well, no, she wouldn't be. She's been drained of blood. But that leaves a power vacuum. Trunga needs to get inside the wall. And I told him I would get him inside the wall.
Exchange one dictator for another.
Besides, wouldn't that be a great distraction for us?
We can hope. And how do you plan to get through the wall, precisely?
I hold up the piston gauntlet.
Yes,
It
that tracks.
seems like it would be effective. We don't have the time, of course, but perhaps one of these, well, unfortunate people of the city One of them could probably do this for us.
A syndicate member points at the two of you and says, "Hey, excavation equipment is Q2AC. You're going to need to head that way. Please get out of the Q1 area."
I'm gonna go up to this guy. Excuse me,
Yes.
do you like your job?
Uh, of course, who wouldn't love working for Stugg Kibeo, the most nefarious crime lord in all of the galaxy?
Hmm. I'm looking for
Carlisle will
someone to do
lean
some
in.
work. Do you know anybody that doesn't like their job?
Uh, I mean, there's Craston, but he got fired a couple days ago.
Carlisle will slowly turn to the side to obscure the name on his badge.
No one really knows what happened to that guy. He was having a hard time. Heard he had a lot of mouths to feed. A lot of gambling debts too. That's a big problem here. That's how you might love your job, but you can just get yourself in trouble betting on those space ponies and those teenage skiff races.
I lean over to Hijack and say, they're certainly very comfortable giving information about their colleagues, aren't they?
Yes, it's potentially useful.
Oh, he's not a colleague anymore. He's Creston Brandt. He's a former colleague.
Ah,
What do you want to know about my former colleagues? Most of them are dead.
When you say fired, do you mean out of a cannon?
Some of them. But Creston Brandt, just the normal, like handed the papers and asked to leave. Had his badge deactivated.
oh, I see your confusion, Trip. You see, there's this thing that people do called work.
Oh, I'm well aware. I'm surrounded by people who work.
Yeah.
And if you're worried
I
dictator, you don't need to worry about replacing one dictator with another. You just need a better class of dictator.
silly me, why didn't I think of that?
It's 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 above the lower classes. It's fine. You don't need to worry about that. Leave it to your betters.
As I mentioned, please head over to Q2AC, though. This is Q1 area. You all have excavation equipment. That is equipment that does work. I know that you may not be familiar with work, but this is Q1 is for not work in the way that that piston gauntlet surely is.
And what is Q1 for?
Q14. Normally that's not how we code things. See, it's Q1 and then two letters afterward. It's a little bit easier that way. Q14, I mean, that might be a line at the Zoologic Elementorium. I'm not entirely sure about that. This is Q1DF. And you need to be in Q2AC, I believe have identified if I'm looking at this right. We sometimes change around where the cues are just to keep everyone alert and keep things surprising.
We're one to be fired from this organization. Where would that occur?
Roll a collection with presents here.
Oh, a 0. Okay.
A
That
0.
or on presence.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a 2 and a 5, so 7.
2 and a 5 is 7. Um, that would happen generally in the lower 88, the upper half of the lower 88, really. Make sure that you have the full walk of shame going by all the other offices after you have been eliminated. It really brings your spirits down, but make sure that you don't kind of cool off and realize that there's a lot preventing you from trying to overthrow Stugg or the rest of the syndicate like myself.
Good to know. We appreciate your candor.
There are a lot of um, I've already said too much.
No, please continue. I am very interested in what you have to say.
Um, you heard about the assassination of Tulaf Wister?
I'm afraid I don't believe I have heard of that. No.
Hmm. Um, Old leader of the criminal underground in the old jail.
And he was
There's
assassinated here in Criterion City
oh, absolutely.
by one of Stugg Kibeo's minions.
In fact, we we planted a rival.
Clever.
Mhm,
Was this your
mhm.
idea?
Oh, no, no, no. I just tell people which queue to stand in.
Well, you do an excellent job of that.
But that new guy, that new syndicate member, or I don't know. Why am I being so revealing of who's a syndicate member, who isn't? Creston Brandt isn't. Trunga Tort is. Oh, God. Move along. Q2 AC.
Hmm. Thank you.
Have a lovely day.
You too. The line's getting longer. You better get over there quickly.
Well, it seems like we do not need to get Trunga Tort into the walls.
Or we could find one or two recently fired employees to do it for us.
Well, if he's already a member of the syndicate, he can go in and out as he pleases.
And then we'll cut over to Fix, wandering through the lower 88. The rooms here make up the bulk of the central sphere. It is the literal base of operations for the syndicate, and yeah, there are also a lot of residences of high-ranking syndicate members here, and boardrooms where the logistics of different high-profile jobs are negotiated. Um, Fix, as you're wandering around through a door, you hear muffled discussion about a job on a planet you frequent. Which planet? And what's the objective of this job?
Which planet?
Yeah.
Um, Probably Jattern.
Chattern?
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
one I frequent the most. So that would be the
Hmm.
one that my ear would perk up for.
Hmm.
But there's almost nothing there worth stealing except for, well, it's a gas planet and there's the helium reserves, but they couldn't pot. Are they really going to steal an entire planet's worth of helium? Why, that would leave just a tiny iron core floating in the void to vacuum up the entirety of a gas giant.
Um, and I think you pass like one of these like felt wall mounted directories with the little white letters, the like black felt kind of thing. And yes, this room is labeled as the helium job.
Mm,
And as you are walking through this area, the walls are carpeted. There is that smell of old cigarette smoke and probably stale wine for whatever reason that it just kind of like is stuck in the material
mm.
here. But
Tires,
it's
hockey
all,
equipment.
yeah. Tires, so on and so forth. Like a beautiful candle. Uh, and you are walking through these hallways. It has this very like liminal feel, like you're passing
Hmm.
these offices, you're hearing these sort of like muffled negotiations.
Hmm.
Um, what are you what are you doing? Are you poking into one of these rooms? Are you yeah, what's your approach here?
I think that since we're trying to get up a central elevator, I'm looking for an unattended pass of some sort. Someone who's left their credentials around, maybe on a restroom break. Uh, Yeah, and trying to look as if I am a member of the crew of one of these planning jobs on my way to a particular boardroom. So a lot of purposeful walking. I might even have a prop clipboard at the ready that I'm comparing to the numbers of rooms as I pass them by, doing everything possible to look like I belong here. Nobody stops somebody with a clipboard.
It's true. It's true. You actually pass like one of these syndicate members that's being fired
Mm,
is like being escorted down the hall past the offices. Um, and they are, yeah, carrying a sort of space cardboard box that has, I don't know, a ray gun in there. There is probably yeah, I don't know. Help me paint the scene. What
mhm.
else, folks? What is in the box of this fired Kibeo Syndicate member?
There's one of those drinking birds, but it's not a bird. It's one of the, what are the bird people called?
The Perry.
Oh,
The,
Perry.
yeah, yeah, it's a Perry.
They're kind of racist.
Super
I can't believe they
They
racist.
let
are.
them
Yeah,
have
yeah.
that in their cubicle. That's messed up.
There may have been an HR report about the
Yeah,
Drinky Bird.
I don't care if they're collectible or rare. It's just um I like the idea that maybe they're allowed to keep their communication pad, but it's snapped in half.
Two sets of brass knuckles with more finger holes than you would expect.
Mm.
Hmm.
Double the power, double the fun.
There is a scale model of the palace made of popsicle sticks that he'd been working on for a while.
We're not keeping this guy busy. A postcard from the old prison that says "Wish you were here."
As they walk down the hallway, the syndicate member still in uniform, the sort of security guard that's escorting the other one, is saying, hold here," and knocks on the door of like one of these offices, and the door opens and says, hey, just need you to know that Bass here has been reduced from the workforce, removed from the workforce, excuse me. We are reducing the workforce by removing Bass Vin. Just want to make sure that you know, Bass, you can't say goodbye, but maybe look at them sadly. Make sure that they understand that this is the penalty for the things that you have done. And Bass looks sadly into the boardroom, and then the security guard closes the door, and they continue walking down the hall. And they walk past you, and as they're walking past you, the security guard turns and says, "I haven't seen you around. You must be new. This is Bass Vin. You don't need to know him."
Oh, I'm here on a contract basis. Bass Vin? And look down at my clipboard. Yeah, he's supposed to be coming with me. It turns out the company gave him an extraneous gonad, and I'm supposed to get that back and get it into his box before he leaves here.
Give me a diversion roll with presence here.
All right.
What are you afraid might happen?
God, that he'll want to see the gonad come out. Which, yeah, I'll do it, but I don't like I don't like to be watched.
Yeah. I mean, I think that that's the security guard is, even though Basvin is supposed to go with you, the security guard goes wherever ever Basvin goes. So this won't be a handoff, and you will have to do what you have said.
All right. I hate these dice. I hate them. I'm these are going in whatever form dice jail is going to take. That's a 3 and a 1.
Ooh, that's not great.
Nope.
I don't know if anyone has a Bondi to throw to you, but yeah,
We could
Let
boost it with a bona fide if we need to, right?
You could. It's up to you based on what you hear here.
Mhm.
The guard turns to you and says, "Oh, so you need to go up to the lab to do
Yeah,
that surgery, right?"
I think while he's saying up to the lab, like a half second behind him, like up to the lab. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
As if I
yeah.
was anticipating what he was saying or
Yeah,
completely
no, that
simpatico.
makes perfect sense. We do that quite frequently here. Why don't you come up, come up to the lab? You said you're a contract worker?
Yes, I have certain medical expertise that comes in handy every once in a while. Got a
Oh man.
specialty in organs, but
Yeah, yeah,
matter
yeah.
of fact, you want to see something amazing? And I pull out an aerosol from my medical bag, shake it up, and spray it over the front of my tongue. Said, you probably wouldn't be able to tell that I actually injured my tongue earlier this afternoon. And yet here I am talking perfectly normally. Give me your hand. Just
Okay.
hit him with the aerosol and say, slap me as hard as you can.
I think this is the penalty. He can slap really hard. Or not the penalty, but the
Yeah,
complication here.
yeah.
Um,
Take the condition slapped.
you are knocked out. Uh,
That's great.
and I think you are slapped so hard that you have one remaining diamond eye, right?
Yeah,
I think it's knocked right out of the socket. I think your diamond eye is lost somewhere in the lower 88.
great.
You're going to be taken up to this laboratory where you are expected to remove the gonad of this person who has been fired.
hmm
Um, an expectation that you have set for yourself,
hmm
but have established. And yeah, your one bad eye is missing when you come to. But let's cut back over to a trip. You Do you think you veer off from the rest of the group in the collections to go talk to your contact, or is that something that happened before you like appeared in that scene? Like, is this like a little bit
Um,
of a flashback here, or?
yeah, I think I was with them, and then like they clearly weren't listening to the person in charge telling them that they needed to move in line, and that's just uncouth.
Mm,
So
mm-hmm.
after I think the third time he told them to move, I was like, well, this is nonsense. And I just wandered away in search of more refined people.
Yeah. And you find this contact of yours, Jarek Macadomo, who kind of nods to you from a distance from across the courtyard. He's back in this the Ascent's courtyard.
Um, I'll approach him and with my uh, hands folded behind my back because I know what happens to people who shake hands with a glad hand. Um, Fancy seeing you here, glad hand.
Always wonderful seeing you, Trip. How's your family?
Well, since Pater's death, things have taken a turn, but that was a good half century ago, so things are on the up and up. Would you care for a sample? Pulls out his little flask.
Yeah. Takes a sip. And he kind of like waves his hand in the air, kind of like blowing some of the smart smoke away,
Mm.
and kind of like leans in to you as he hands back the flask and says, "So I hear you've been working for the association.
Gives me something to do while I wait.
You're always looking for something to do. So bored, even with everything that you have."
It's so boring. I can get whatever I want. It's so boring.
And so instead, you want to overthrow the powers that be.
Well, most of them. Most of them.
Oh,
Not,
I guess that would be fair.
not mine, of course.
And is your hope to be the one that stands when this is all done?
Um, perhaps just acquisitions. This is a place where people acquire things. Perhaps I could acquire this for the Empire, you know?
Hmm. Is there a particular thing that you're looking to acquire right now? I've been told to fulfill what you need.
Uh, what what is it that we're looking for again? I came into this game late and I forgot.
The loot here is a thing called the Helio Shroud. That's basically what you know about the Helio Shroud. It is the belonging of someone named Princess Dash. Your the series of objectives here are you are trying to get up this elevator without being detected or being minimally
Right.
detected, being allowed to go into this elevator. You need to steal the Helio Shroud, and then you need to get the fuck off of Criterion City and Z976 altogether. You know that there's going to be all of these gangs, the syndicate as well, surrounding you once that's alerted. So you're looking for the easiest way out of this crater city once you've got the
Uh,
loot.
okay, I think the trip figures yeah, Trip figures that the crew is good. Like, clearly, Jumpsuit has a way to get like a key card to get onto the elevator, um, or could acquire that fairly easily. And the vampire robot and the other guy could probably lift whatever is necessary. I think I could probably help with the getaway. So that's like what I'm looking
Okay.
for is necessarily a thing, but perhaps a service. Rapid extraction.
Hmm.
Do you know? Do
Uh,
you know?
you know, they are reopening the historic funicular. There's
Hmm.
a big celebration going on.
Well, of course, I would be invited to such a celebration. Of course, correct?
A,
Yes.
a few select special guests will be allowed to ride the funicular before its official opening.
Very well.
And I
Uh,
could perhaps add you. I may not be able to get your entire crew onto the guest list, but I should be able to work your name onto the list.
oh, wonderful. Well, I think that would do nicely. Yes, yes, yes. I'll go back to the gang and let them know.
I'm happy to get you out of this. I'm sorry that your gang will be stuck here.
They're resourceful people.
Uh, Now, if you don't mind, they'll be growing suspicious. And he takes a puff of the one of the smart smoke cigarettes, and there is surveillance smoke back in the air.
Very good.
Um, but you have added your name to the honorable guest list of the reopening of a historic funicular.
Okay.
Cut back to Hijack and Jane Doe 2.0. Have you gotten into the appropriate queue?
Do we still need to, or do we need to make contact with Trunga Tort?
I think I think the idea is to make contact with Trunga Tort, and what I'm hoping is that having Trunga, if Trunga, my initial idea was that we can get Trunga as a distraction while we ride the elevator up. But if he's part of the syndicate, that distraction's not going to work anymore because he's kind of not a distraction then.
But
Um,
he might know best how to cause one from the inside.
and I could get on his, I did promise him I would get him inside. So if we bust open the thing, I'm upholding my promise, we could be on his good side and he might be more likely to help us.
We
Unless you have a
have
better plan.
no, I think we have the demolition equipment. We have a wall to break, and maybe getting him in outside of the normal checkpoints will enable him to wreak more havoc.
Hi, Jack. Is there anything you can do with this? And I hold up the gauntlet to make it more powerful, save
Not
us some time.
not more. Or wait, could I reroute the power in my light orb, which is very bright, to increase the output on the demolition glove?
Ooh, I think this is a fun idea. Um, the yeah. Um, I'm trying to think of mechanically how this will work, other than like being perhaps the plan towards the escape, unless you have an idea of how this would work on the plan to getting into the elevator. It may just be that you like hold this thought until you're trying to
I think
make your
we're
way
planning
out.
to burst through the wall so that Trunga Tort can come in,
Uh-huh.
thus upholding the promise, getting on his good side, and then we can convince Trunga Tort to cause a distraction or tell us how to cause a distraction so that we can go up the elevator while everyone's distracted.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like this might just factor into like the next plan. To be honest, I feel like you're in character kind of like piecing some of this together. It
All
makes
right.
sense on that. I think um I like the idea perhaps of like trying to get word out to Trunga Tort that this is going on to kind of like obtain that as an asset here.
Mm.
How do you
I have a
think you
vengeful
would?
spirit in a can that maybe could be convinced to carry a message through the wall.
Ooh,
Oh, or we could get the vengeful spirit. I want to use the vengeful spirit more than I want to use Gerald, though. I was going to get Gerald to pick the vengeful spirit in a can and drop the can at Trunga Tort's feet, where it bursts open and the vengeful spirit tells Trunga Tort what we're doing. But I like the idea of the spirit going through the wall too.
yeah. Um, let's do it like that. Let's do this as like a collection with advantage since you are using the vengeful spirit. To get Trunga Tort in position and understanding the task you're communicating to him. What's the message that you're sending to Trunga Tort specifically? What are you telling the vengeful spirit to communicate? How does this play out?
I imagine the Jane would be in a better position to compose the message.
I believe the message says, it has to be something very simple because he's not really brainy, that one. I think it says it's just a location in the wall where we're gonna bust through,
Okay.
and a time.
Makes sense. So you've kind of like scouted, like you've been moving through collections, going to the wrong queues, getting an understanding of where you haven't been told to go to another queue,
Yeah.
to find a spot that will be sufficient creating a hole in this wall. Yeah, give me a reason roll here, hijack with advantage.
That would be a 3 and a 4. 7 plus 2 is 9.
9. Um, yeah, I think describe how you send this thing off.
I think the vengeance in this vengeful spirit's heart is kind of non-specific. It's just really after it's just an angry, dead being that wants to take its anger out on whatever it can. And it takes a bit of time to convince it that no, no, this Stugg Kibeo, he's worth it. Like you get one shot at this, and this one, this is the big one. And there's a montage of Jane and Carlisle frustratedly working with this spirit to memorize this very short message, and it can't do it. And then we see it repeat slowly the right words and celebration, and then just whoop through the wall. That was irritating.
Frankly, I'm impressed with your patience.
Oh, someone needs to have some. Shall we?
The vengeful spirit moves through the wall and immediately runs into, and I think this would be the complication on it, Boraran in Terranor's form, who does work for Trunga Tort. And the message is conveyed to Boraran. And Boraran, we see then, I think a similar montage of this, yeah, this thing communicating, trying different phrases and getting them wrong. And Bora's just like, what are you talking about? What is this nonsense? And then it comes to like, yeah, like the vampire robot and the fancy curator man say this is the spot. And she puts it together and she goes back and she is getting Trunga Tort. So add to, we'll make it a, yeah, like an asset here, a flaw or exploit is that Trunga Tort ready to make chaos. We cut over to a room. It is shiny. It is white. It is tiled. Every inch of it. There is a metal table in the center of it, and Fix is splayed out on the ground below it, coming to one eye missing, the other eye still intact, and there is this fired individual very nervously, sheepishly sitting on top of the table while this guard leans against the wall. I think drinking a martini and killing some time as Fix comes to and says, "You did tell me to slap you as hard as I could."
I did. And perhaps I should have given a little bit more context for what we're actually testing there.
As a
And
medical professional, I feel like you would know the power which a syndicate member such as myself can apply to the face of another individual.
that's on me. I'll take that. And you should know that a medical professional, in order to carry out his duties, generally needs binocular vision. Where is my other eye?
You had to?
I had two when I came in here today to do
Wow,
my
I really
job.
got you.
You really did. Now, I have some pre-surgical prep to do. I need to make this entire area completely free of bacteriological invasive agents. I have to
Mhm.
sterilize everything. While I'm doing that, why don't you go get my eye? Make yourself useful.
Because I have to be here watching you as a contract employee as well as
You
the
are a bag of
fired
germs.
employee.
You cannot be in this room while I am doing the surgery.
Roll escalation with presence here.
Sure.
What are you afraid will happen as you are threatening this security guard as a bag of germs
uh,
who did just
that
knock out one of your eyes?
yeah.
with just a friendly little slap.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I'll take some suggestions. What does everyone else think could go wrong here?
He slaps out your other eye.
Just completely blind.
Your eye socket gets colonized by those nano machines.
Ooh.
If
I
he's
got nothing better than
if he
that.
yeah, if he's smoking one of those nano cigarettes with his martini,
I love that he just like is gonna blow
blow
just
smoke in my
smart smoke
face.
right into your eye. That's brilliant.
That's a lot of fun. Super excited how often I keep using presency stat I have nothing in, as opposed to any of the stats that I actually boosted. All right, this time at least we got a 7. Good old 4 and 3.
Um, this contract must come from high up, right?
Yeah, you think the average person can afford to pay my medical bills? I've got serious medical school debt to pay off. I'm not working at a discount.
I, if you ask me, it feels like just letting this guy continue working would be less expensive than all of this, but this is the way that it's got to be. This is the way it's got to be.
I think with that, he like lifts his hand and a couple of his fingers split into like whirring scalpel machines. Like, well, I've got some monocular work to do while I wait. Hopefully, I don't have any sort of issues with depth perception, and this inserted gonad is at the expected depth.
Oh, I'll go. I'll look for your goddamn eye,
Thank you.
but I'm gonna keep an eye on you. And just does the puff of smart smoke right into your eye.
Love
So
it.
take that as a condition.
Yeah, we're gonna call that.
Smoky eye.
I was gonna go with spy.
S s eye. Oh, I got it.
Hmm.
Um, and he heads off to look for your
Great.
eyeball. How are we feeling here about
It was Bass, right?
Basvin is the individual you're doing the surgery on.
Yeah. I think to him, I say, we probably have a couple of minutes. How would you like to look like that security guard and get his job instead of your old one?
Oh. Y- y-
It looks like you're headed for the unemployment line and presumably penury and death. But
I
we can see he's not very good at his job. And if you look just like him, you could take it from him.
I I could. I that would be a um
Very simple. We thin the eyes, broaden the nose a little bit with what we take off the eyes, a little firming up of the chin. You'll pass for him. Exactly.
it's
Probably
that
only take.
easy.
It's that easy.
And I get to keep my gonad?
You do know you never had an extraneous gonad, right? That was entirely a bluff just to get you into this room.
Oh dear.
Had they given you an extraneous gonad, they probably wouldn't have fired you. You would have
You're
been
not
much too
actually
valuable.
part of any of this, are you?
I'm a contractor. But I'm also a professional. And I've got what you need.
And the camera cuts away at that point. How are we feeling about the objective here? Are we still prowling around the facility? Do we feel comfortable enough to move forward? If we are still poking around, what are the kinds of things that we are looking for here?
If we do try to meet the objective, do we have a action plan on how to do this, aside from Trunga Tort causing a distraction?
Do we want to review what the specific objective is here? This is get in, it's the ascent, it's a complexity of 4. The question here is how can you gain access to the palace's top floor suite? What you know is that there is a single elevator lift with high-tech security surrounded by surveillance, which we have described, and elite guards who we have been slapped by. And so we need to get through those. Or
If
find some other way to get to this top floor of the crime palace.
if all goes well, I'll have us our own faux elite guard
Mm-hmm.
as an escort.
I can try using one of my uh persona moves um in negotiating with Stub Cabello, or perhaps like I can use pomp and awe uh to try and make you guys seem better than you are, or I could try and network a little bit.
Do you
So
want to
maybe,
read how that move works for
yeah,
us?
that'd be fun.
Sure. So pomp and awe is when you negotiate with someone of high status, you may bluff that another present crew member is someone of even higher status. The value, oh, I don't have any bond dice, so this won't work.
It would still work. You just wouldn't have anything to add to it.
Well, the value of a bond die held between the player characters may then be added to the roll, so I'd be doing nothing. But the I can also pass a code phrase, roll with presence on a hit, choose one, gain private audience with any character, or gain personal passage to a facility location. So I might be able to like directly connect to Stug Cabello,
You could. Yep.
talk my way into his place.
Sort of related. Do any of us know what the Helios Shroud is or does?
Like shroud stuff.
Just know
Maybe
it's a
that's worth
special
asking
thing.
about.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Because if it's small enough, I could like secrete it on my or secret it on my person and then like take the funicular down while you guys try and bust out without it. That was kind of what I was thinking. But if it's big, that's not possible. Unless I have a very big wheelbarrow.
Hmm.
Let me see if there's a wheelbarrow in my empty slot. I don't think there is one.
Yeah, gather more information on what it is we're trying to heist would be good.
Okay. Um, yeah, let's do this scene where you um meet Stug Cabello, and this is the clandestine society. When you state your network's code phrase to an NPC, oh, this is in the perimeter. Um, I'd let you backtrack on this. You'll be a little bit removed from the crew, but if you um, head back, roll with presence on a hit, you choose one, gain private audience with any character, or gain personal passage to a facility location. So it's kind of like a scout ahead type of thing, but I like this idea of like meeting up with Stug Cabello. You know that he was participating in this parade. So maybe that's why you kind of backtrack here while the rest of the folks are milling about. Um,
Yeah, if everyone is okay with that.
yeah,
Sure.
let's get that roll.
All right. Um, and remind me if I have checked it presence, that means what?
I believe that
Um,
means you cannot roll at disadvantage.
Okay, got it.
Correct. Yeah.
Let's see what I do. That is a 7.
Okay, so it is a hit. Yeah, I mean, set the stage for me of like how are you seeking this audience with Stug Cabello?
Um, I think I would go to someone who like is clearly like connected in the syndicate. Um and uh yeah, I would go up there and I would whisper or I'd mention the passphrase space fish.
Hmm.
Just kind of work that into the conversation
Hmm.
and
Hmm. Hmm.
see how many hits. I might try and do it with a couple of people who might look at me like I'm a little crazy, but
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
I'm royal, so I'm kind of used to that from the peon.
Yeah. Um, I think at some point, somebody does identify that, like, oh, this is somebody who is in my secret society, my network. And you are escorted to um a private viewing area at the base of the water terrarium in the zoological elementorium. And you walk in, and it's like the big aquarium window. You see these like strange underwater beasts swimming around in this blue lit room, and you see this dark silhouette sitting in a chair, observing it all. Um, and you hear a voice, and it is Stugg Kibeo, um, and says, I've been told you're a very, very important person. He does not turn around to look at you. He's just staring out into the aquarium.
You have very wise informants. Yes, I'm extremely important.
I have the wisest informants. There are no informants wiser than my informants, and if there were, they'd be dead.
Very well. Perhaps it is best not to be too wise around you. Uh, uh,
Unless you would like to be one of my informants.
I might be too wise.
I can tell if you have negotiated this audience with me that you are perhaps wiser than the normal wise guy.
Wise guys, yes, yes, excellent, very, very, very droll. I apologize. I'm used to people introducing me before I enter a room. I am His Most August Excellency Lord Wharton Grandino Silver the Third. Surely you've heard of me.
Oh, I believe I stole that fleet of corsairs from your cousin.
Ah, yes, yes, Derelo. He's a minor royal.
Beautiful vessels.
Um,
Out of character here within this scene, according to the move, in the subsequent scene, describe an idea or thing you plant here. The next individual move here or elsewhere involving this person, Stugg Kibeo, or place, the base of the zoologic elementorium, you can replace any die with a 6 if the move incorporates what you've planted.
hmm.
So I think thinking through like what is that idea that you want to plant, and you may take one additional action in the scene before returning.
Okay, I think the idea that I want to plant in his head that I am uh harmless and trustworthy.
Okay, okay. Um, hmm, hmm. Yeah, how are you doing that? Cut back to the conversation now. Talking about your cousin's missing fleet of corsairs.
Perfect. I actually so I think what I'll try and do is I'll use that as like yes, he was those that fleet absolutely affected the delivery of the most recent vintage of I keep wanting just to add space in front of everything, like
That
Space
is
Merlot.
the way this game works. It's the easiest way to be on theme.
Very good. Yes, the most recent vintage of Space Merlot to the Royal Palace on Glorcon 6. Um, no judgment on you. Everyone's got to make a living. But now we have all this wine and a very upset Glorcon royal family. Perhaps you would be interested in acquiring some wine at a discount. It's quite good. Would you like a sample?
Yes. Thank you.
I am running low on wine.
Seems like you have a lot of connections. You're wise, powerful.
And
I
and
fear no one, but it does feel like you are trying to intimidate me.
how could I possibly intimidate you? You're a powerful crime boss. I'm in the heart of your organization. I am just second in line to the Fufflins six royal family. I feel at the very least I could offer you I don't know, some sort of deal. I am interested in expanding the reach of our market, um, since becoming more of a an agricultural based economy ever since the war.
And why would you like to expand this market?
Um, uh, because uh, because people don't know how good the wine is,
Hmm.
and if someone of your stature served it. Uh, it's all about image. It's not necessarily about taste. It's about image.
Well, I'm glad that this is a matter of generosity for you because there's very little in it for you, really.
Goodwill. Perhaps perhaps you won't steal my Corsair fleet.
Hmm. Perhaps. I'll have I'll have my team write up a contract for you, and you will be bound to that. And um,
Ah, yes, yes, absolutely. Royals are definitely well known for sticking to contracts that they sign.
oh, they aren't. They certainly aren't. But my contracts tend to stick a little bit better than others. And you do see him just kind of like tapping at his blaster.
Yeah. He's tapping. He's tapping his blaster.
Yeah, his ray gun.
Okay, okay, all right. I'm trying to come off as extremely like non-threatening.
Um, Yeah, I think he's reading this as like he's like certainly there's this tension, right, of like you're this royal and you are trying to like keep your airs about you. I think he's not threatened by you, but he wants to express to you just how threatened you should feel in um, developing this contract with Stugg Kibeo. Um, but I think you do walk away from this with Stugg Kibeo not so much in your pocket, but you're in his pocket. And that may come to be an advantage for you. Um, yeah, while this has been happening, what are the rest of you doing?
I think I'd like to get a look at this elevator. We haven't really looked at it.
Sure.
And, you know, between me being a robot and Hijack being smart, might be able to figure something out about how to secretly ride the elevator up. Perhaps.
Sound,
Uh,
sounds
i-
good.
if you are approaching that, give me a collection with reason then.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go right up to the elevator and analyze it. My reason is, oh, I'm not very reasonable.
Hmm.
Do I have anything that's helpful? No, I don't have anything. Okay, that's fine. One. I rolled a one and a two.
A one and a two, so it is
Sorry,
a
that's two. Two.
two ones. Is that what you had
Sorry.
described?
I rolled a one and a two. That adds to three minus one.
Minus
I
one.
thought for some
Okay.
reason I thought I had minus two, but no.
Um, we do bump the watch up a couple ticks on a one. And is that was there a previous one that was rolled
I don't
here?
think
Did
so.
Fix, you did not have one, you were just a low roll.
No, I had my first roll where I put some dice in jail, included a one.
Oh,
Okay. So we will be at go time on this. Um, I think as you step up to the elevator, the Ori freezes, and the eyeballs are just like pointed dead set on you. Um, and you see Jarek Mechadomo, Gladhand, uh, just has this horrified look on his face. Uh, and you see some security guards are kind of like circling. I think this is almost kind of like a Cold War sort of like KGB kind of scene, is like all of a sudden like you are processing that everyone who's in this courtyard is our eyes of the syndicate. Um, and they are all staring directly at you. Um, I think you will take the condition here, marked by the syndicate. Um, and to double down on it, hijack is maybe like holding back a little bit, but I think there's so much surveillance at this point that they are connecting that the two of you are together. And so I think you would both take this condition.
oop. I would like to uh soft reboot. When any die you roll is a one, you have a spark of opportunity to adapt. If you choose to initiate this move, describe how you change your function and appearance dramatically or slightly. Reconfigure your stats. The modifier total should remain the same. At least two stats must change. Decrease the heist watch by one tick.
Oh, okay.
So
For what it's worth, it will still be go time.
it'll
But
still be go time, but it won't be
yeah,
extra go time.
yeah.
I'm going to uh, switch my reason and my presence,
Okay.
and I'm going to look even more like a bat.
Are you doing this in front of the surveillance, or are you cowering
I think
away and then trying to change?
I think that I'm going to use a holographic decoy. I have an extra slot in my heist kit, and I'm going to put a holographic decoy in there, and I'm going to use that to escape in a puff of smoke,
Okay. Yeah,
and then
that works.
change as the puff of smoke changes. Yeah.
Okay, love it. Cool. Okay. So there will be this like we'll just use this as a narrative because the role is what the role and the move is functioning. But yeah, like your holographic decoy appears, it is appearing as you in your current form, and then you have shifted to look more bat-like as
Yeah.
you
A
flap
skulk
away,
away. Yeah.
skulk away. Yeah. Um,
Can I fly?
Carlisle, how are you making your way out of this scene as you see Jane Doe 2.0 grab the attention of everyone? And then I think as a curator, you would also recognize that she is using the holographic decoy and a puff of smoke to escape as something else. But here are you, still with the eyes of the syndicate upon you.
Looking around, uh, I think he'll just hold up his badge and say, I was just leaving. I was recently let go.
And you just get a lot of like suspicious eyes, but they let you slink away. With this, it's go time, folks. I think we can take a break, do like 10 minutes or so. You can kind of like come back and then off camera do the sort of like classic, like work through the plan here of how you are going to address this, which assets you want to use at this stage, which ones you might want to like piece together for the further two. So just to really quickly review the next objectives that you have from your briefing is that once you get the Helio Shroud, that next objective is the gangs of Criterion. Criterion, spelled wrong in that sheet. And that's got a complexity 2, and you are escaping the alarmed syndicate. They are essentially going to be notified that you have this object. You are pretty sure of that, and so you're going to have to make your way back out through all of these gangs, all of these syndicate members, and then finally that get out phase is also complexity 2, and that's just getting out of. You are in the base of the crater. Your ship is at the rim of the crater. So getting out of the crater are going to be those objectives. So you've got 8 total points here of complexity, but it starts with 4, which is the gaining access to the palace's top floor. All right, so we will take 10, and you can discuss and plot and all of that kind of thing as we do. All right. You don't have to have a decision by the time we're back with the 10 either. So, yeah, we can work through that. All right. Pausing the recording. Resume recording. We're back. We have a plan. Can someone give me or give the listeners and the viewers at home a summary of what is being planned here for getting to Stugg Kibeo's suite at the top of the Crime Palace?
It's a weird game of chicken everyone's playing. We were just talking about the plan. All right, I'll take my best stab at it. If anybody has any corrections, feel free to chime in. But from my understanding, it is a two-prong plan. One, from the beginning, we had always planned to use Trunga Tort and Trunga's ambitions to get them inside this area, into the facility. And we can make that happen because we found out Trunga Tort actually works for the Syndicate, meaning that with a little bit of influence, we should be able to, make sure that he could just be let in. Because why not? He's an employee. Nobody would keep him out. Makes you wonder why he was hoping that we would have to help him. But there are wheels within wheels happening in Trunga Tort's broken little brain. Some of those gears might be missing teeth, but things are moving, and that is to our benefit. As soon as Trunga makes the advance, we act as if Trip has been wounded and needs to be rushed and protected, as well as using as a prop, but not using mechanically for the role, some fake gold bars to say this is a rich royal who needs to be protected. Fix with his med pack will look as if he is trying to get them to a sterile uh, and safe area inside Stugg Kibeo's upper chambers so that we can get by the guards looking very important and very rich. So, with them rushing to hopefully fend off Trunga Tort and us moving in If we come across any defenses, any locks on the central elevator that we're trying to use, we have a very special hacking tool, a piston gauntlet, which is known to be a delicate and precise instrument when it comes to electronics and should help us bypass any defenses that we may encounter.
Brilliant
Sounds
plan.
good to me. So there are four assets being put to play here against a complexity four. So this will be a flat roll. And yeah, let's see what happens.
Who's feeling lucky?
I've never been lucky in this game, so I'm gonna fall back on. I'm just a guest star. I'm an extended guest star. One of the core
I'll do it.
team should do it.
I've failed every roll with these dice.
You're about due.
Two sixes.
There we go.
Whoa. On a 12 plus, the plan works flawlessly.
Damn, that's so good.
And impressed, the Galactic Overlord will provide help in the next phase. The Keeper will tell you how. Um, do it with style. Let's do it with style, folks. Each of you narrate your signature moment in executing this part of the plan. Something memorable about your role in the action.
Just occurred to me that Fix is selling Trip's wound with some sort of bladder that is filled with biological fluid and is gleefully trying to pretend like he's doing a compress while aiming for the faces of elite guards as we pass by. To just be like, stand back, man! He's gushing. I've got to keep pressure, and then just, spraying this arc of blood from in a jet towards anybody who gets too close.
I think we see a flashback of Jane Doe 2.0 talking to Trunga Tort and convincing him that a coup is a really good idea. Not very stylish, but
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty cool.
I think Trip is doing his best Sir Percy Blakeney from the Scarlet Pimpernel impression. A lot of oh! um and promising various people like a knighthood or a duchy if they help clear the way. Possibly pulls like a handkerchief out of his wrist and starts dabbing himself on the forehead.
Carlisle will, after telling everyone that he had just been let go, he's just going to walk in a wide circle back toward the elevator, and he's going to set up that very bright light on the inside of the elevator so that as they go up, the big eyeballs in the not armillary, the other one, orrery, they're just blinded by it, and he'll just wait for the others holding the door open because he is polite.
Aw. Um, and you are all zipping up this elevator, and it reaches the top floor. There's a little ding, and the door opens. And from here, you can see all of Criterion City. And since you're also level with the crater's rim at this point, you can see the planet out beyond that, with this sun that has been rising for hours, if not days, at this point. The suite itself is wide and open. There's some type of anti-gravity system that must suspend the rest of the structure. The supports don't seem all that there. Um, you are surrounded as you walk into this area, long curving couches. There are glass exhibit cases everywhere, and one of them holds the Helio Shroud. It is a um, uh, cloak that has the power of an entire sun um, inside of it. How that is stored in there, who knows? But science, definitely. It glimmers like a bright light bulb, somehow dimmed by the fabric, the high tech fabric that is containing all of this energy. Um, as you walk out from the elevator into the suite, you realize that you have stepped into some type of social gathering or party. Um, Maybe a post parade, pre funicular celebration rendezvous. There are small groups of people scattered around the suite. Um, what do you see some of these groups of people doing? Help me paint the scene here.
There's a table of people playing space cribbage.
There's a miniature funicular set up running through the party, carrying drinks and canapes that people are taking from.
I think there's a small group by the windows that are like handing binoculars back and forth and making little side bets on how far Trunga's going to make it.
I think there's like two people like obviously making out, like obviously making out as a cover for something more nefarious.
Oh,
Like, well, no one's gonna watch someone make out, so maybe they're gonna like try and like maybe there's someone else trying to steal something.
mm-hmm. Um, Amidst the spherical fire pits that are hanging from the ceiling, and all of this is going on, the floor is a black shimmering tile, and you, hijack, you notice something as you are sort of like surveying what is in these cases, what might these people be doing. You see a glowing blue, almost kind of like an LED projection coming out of one of the tiles. It's this geometric pattern, an arabesque pattern. You would even know this as being the like symbol, the pattern, the flag of the Ghost Emperor, the Galactic Overlord, has lit up this tile, and uh, a wind starts to form above this little pattern. A cyclone is forming. I think you recognize that you're the one who would be most likely to recognize that there is a cyclone being manifested out of this space, and you probably warn the other folks to hang on, to grab on to something. And sure enough, this cyclone grows larger and larger and larger and is whipping glasses out of people's hands. It is whipping pillows off of the sofas and ultimately whips everyone who is in this suite out the window. It is wide open, and they are thrown from the top of Stugg Kibeo's suite. And then it dies down, and that little symbol of the Ghost Emperor disappears. You'll take this sort of like cyclone formation as a evidence of the Galactic Overlord, and then it's the four of you alone here, standing in front of the glass case of the Helio Shroud. We are going to do a move that is called Breaking the Target. And the way that this works is you've reached the target, you'll attempt to steal the loot, and each present character should roll 1d6. We'll take the highest two dice to determine the result. So yeah, if you can, as you roll your die, just describe how you are helping get the Helio Shroud out of this glass case at this point.
I think this is where the pinkies maybe come in, which is making sure that I distribute rubber gloves to everybody and hand everybody a spare pinky. That's like the only fingerprints we're leaving behind as we do this are going to be
Or
Dr.
Dr.
Quantum's.
Quantum's. Nice.
That's a 3.
Uh, Maybe this is later in the actual thing, but my character is dressed in like dark black neutral colors, and so what if that is like actually a light absorbing black that I
Oh,
can
okay.
wrap wrap the shroud in?
Okay.
I think I'm going to take my cape and put it over my face so that I can get close to the shroud in the glass. And I'm going to use one of my bat-like talons to cut through the glass in a big circle with a screeching noise. And then it just sort of falls in so that we can get the shroud. And 3.
Okay. So we're at a 9. Hijack, let's see if we can improve it to.
I don't know what Hijack's doing here. Maybe the floor is shimmering black tile. So he's pried up a couple of the pieces that have come loose with the cyclone anyway. And he's using that. Jane 2.0, well, needing to cut through the glass, obviously, is a vampire. So a solar device probably wouldn't be good. And so he has arranged
Hmm.
a bit of a solar shield using this tile.
Nice.
And that is a 3.
3. So we're at 9. You get the loot, but face a complication. Um, you've grabbed the Helio Shroud. It's time to get away and finally get out. We the complication here though, are you all going back to the ground level? Let me ask you that question as you stage your getaway, or are you staging your getaway from up here?
We did just have a window blown out.
Then we also have the funicular, which I'm assuming
That's
goes
true.
from here down.
Or
If we or if I mean I have like I'm not sure how the funicular thing works, but if it is just for me, again, this is my entourage. I could conceivably try and convince people that, Fix has patched me up, and that we need to return to my ship so I can get better medical treatment at home.
But we're starting here,
You know,
like at this floor. As you start discussing sort of like what your next move is, um, you hear the elevator ding, and you see Trunga Tort come out of the elevator, followed by Bor Oran, her fangs glimmering in the reflection of the helio shroud just before you tuck it into your solar preventing um, um, solar snuffing fabric. And Trunga, Helio Shroud is not yours. It is Trunga Tort's. Trunga Tort rules Criterion City now.
only because of circumstances that we have arranged for. You owe us this, Trunga Tort.
No, you owe Trunga.
How's that precisely?
Um, and he grabs you by your head and lifts you up, like palms your head and lifts you up. Like this.
Compelling argument. How
I'm gonna try and flatter Trunga Tort.
Okay.
Like, wait, wait, don't tell me. This is the Trunga Tort? The person that helped uh uh I don't know, the person that got us to where we are? My goodness, I've heard so much about you. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm
Yeah,
sure you'll do a fine job.
give me a diversion roll with presence here.
2 6s.
Two sixes. A diversion roll on a 12 plus, we get a campaign hit. Um, oh, fun. You will enjoy this. It works exactly as hoped. You may also refresh a bond die with any character present.
Oh.
Have them narrate how they've helped you flatter Trungatort.
Um, I think it'd be funny if it was Hijack. Like, yeah, he's or however drunk the Hijack wants to do it.
that works for me. Just hanging there by the head, stiff as a board. Uh, Trungatort's strength makes for a very solid, very compelling argument. Perhaps we should give him what he wants. Yes?
And he slowly like sets you back down. Um, and Trunga wants you gone.
Well, that's very easily arranged.
Go now before Trunga rethinks this deal. Um, and he steps over to the blown out window and just puts his fists on his hips and is staring out over the like he's just feeling very glorious right now. Um, and Boraran looks at you, Jane Doe 2.0, and says, "Yes, you better get out of here quickly."
I see my little attempt to suck your blood did not work out the way I expected, but I imagine this will probably make your life a lot more interesting.
Oh, your life is about to get a lot more interesting too. And she pulls a switch on the wall, and you hear alarms blaring everywhere throughout the palace, throughout the city. Um, and she says, "Good luck with that. I think the Helio Shroud will be back in our possession in no time." And now we need a plan, folks. How are you escaping the alarmed syndicate? We'll do this, and then we will wrap the session off of this plan. We know that this is the center of operations for Galactic Crime Syndicate. So the gates are all locking down, and there's all sorts of insidious characters that will be on the hunt for you. But that said, you've carved a way through here. You have some context along the way, so the complexity is not too difficult. It's a level 2 here.
Would this be the opportune time to use the gold?
I think so.
Like bribe a bunch of criminals?
I
Yeah.
think they're going to be unclear about who is in leadership and will be very amenable to building their own nest eggs to get through the current chaos. If they're not sure who they're working for, being able to slip them some gold in the short term should make things easier for us.
Is this where we get to use the funicular reopening? We use
Or
that
or
to,
does that take us up the Up the crater.
Yeah, we didn't really determine where the funicular goes.
It's true.
Okay. We're gonna bribe a guard.
Mm-hmm.
Or not a guard. We're gonna bribe a bunch of the syndicate members or random criminals to help us get out. And we do that through the comms devices that Leland has given us. That's how we communicate with the Leland is down, probably. I mean, I can't really speak for Jack, but maybe Leland is down making connections with different criminals, which is how we're able to do
Oh,
this,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
which is why he's not up here with us.
Yeah.
So that we can sort of get past contact to contact on the way out based on the groundwork that he was doing behind the scenes.
Mhm. And then we can save what, 3 for getting out?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll come up with something.
Yeah.
You'll still have the funicular, the bonus pinkies, the lightning storm.
I'm trying to think of how to use the bonus pinkies for this.
You've got the vulture, the ray gun, Leland's holographic decoy. The light orb has not been used as an asset. We had it narratively play in, but we still have that at play.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fix has some fancy civilian clothes.
What
So
if
you've
the
got a
light
lot of
orb,
assets.
letting the light orb be shone out of because you can see this from everywhere in the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's
Mhm.
the cue, shining the light orb like a lighthouse from the top of this building is the cue to all of the bribed uh bad guys
Mhm.
to start
Like
getting things
activates the
together to
network,
get us out. Yeah.
Ooh.
get us a +1.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Cool. Let's roll it.
I nominate Ben.
All right. You shouldn't have. That's 2 1s.
Oofta.
Two
Two
ones.
ones. The plan quickly falls apart. The crew may choose one of the following. You can mark the next crew bona fide and increase the result to a 7 to 9. You can advance to the next phase in turmoil, which adds 2 complexity to the next objective. Or you can, it's not go time, so remain in the current phase, lose 1 asset, and have the keeper describe the shifting situation.
How do we feel about turmoil?
It's narratively interesting.
It is narratively interesting, and I like that.
I'm just along for the ride. I'll do whatever everyone else wants.
Advance with turmoil.
Sure.
All right. Um, Describe for me your signature moment in this part of the plan, and maybe we can kind of seed some elements of why this is not going quite to plan as we go along here.
Are we using the funicular at this stage, or are we holding off on that?
Holding.
I mean, one obvious complication is we get handed off from the first group of criminal escorts to the next, and the first group almost immediately discovers that those gold bars are faked and join the pursuit. And we're like barely staying one bribed and discovered, like it only takes them a little while after us handing over the gold as payment for the handoff to realize that each and every one of them are being betrayed in turn. Sort of increased the number of people who still feel invested enough in catching us, despite the fact that we were trying to take advantage of the chaos of there being no boss. But now they all have very individual reasons to want to prevent our escape.
I think too, one of the problems is not only am I marked by the syndicate, but the syndicate has a way of tracking where I am.
Oh, I mean, the easiest way is I literally have spy bugs in my eye.
Yep,
That
yep.
is true.
Yeah, anybody who wants to tap in and find out where we are along our escape plan
Hmm.
can tap into the smoke nano spy gear that I have in one of my eye sockets.
At one point, the camera will pan over, and Hijack's just not there because he's picked up some of those betting slips for how far Trunga Tort would get, and he's trying to cash them in.
All
How
the
far did
way,
you
baby.
expect?
I mean, everything that said he'd make it all the way.
Yep.
He's trying to make work.
I think Trip holds up the group for a moment because he's trying to sweet talk a cocktail waitress.
Um, you get to the base of the palace. You are walking past the orrery, which is spinning around. The eyes are flailing wildly. They are locked in on you. Um, and as you are dashing across this plaza, you hear a thunk, and it's the body of Trunka Tort. Uh, with a hole ray gun blast size hole like a burned through his body.
Rip. Sad.
And you all hear a voice through your comms, and it is Stugg Kibeo. Didn't get quite as far as you thought he would, did he? Carlisle, Hijack, Lapointe. If any of that is your real name.
Hijack hears this, something frustrating passes over his face, and then he's sorting through the rest of the slips, trying to find the ones that are more accurate now.
You are certainly a master of chess, but I'm 2 moves ahead of you. I'll see you at the funicular. And we'll end there.
Dun,
Um,
dun, dun.
the added complexity here is that Stugg Cabello seems to be ahead of you on all of this and maybe plotted the entire thing.
Is he working with Oran? Oh, I hate her so much.
That's where we are. Stars and wishes to close us up here.
A lot of great twists and turns. Betrayals by people we fully expected to betray us, and yet when they did, had these not now moments, which was fantastic. Um, a star for yet more new and evolving ocular body horror. Still in the as a wish in the back of my head, I'm trying to figure out a way for when to play off everybody else revealing that I have nano spies in my eye, because I feel like nobody has noticed, and not even Fix, because he can't see anything out of that eye. So he's got no idea what's nestled in the
Mm.
socket.
Mhm.
Um,
I kind of like the idea. We didn't talk about it that like all of these like little nanobots make it almost look like it's your diamond eye, like they're sort of
yeah,
like
just
reflecting
kind of
light
moving.
in that.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so like
if
unless you're
nobody looks
looking
close,
closely, you wouldn't really notice because they're probably all horrified of that eye anyway.
nobody likes looking into it. 100%. Um, Glad that the zookeeper outfit stayed with us. Uh, Big fan of that gambit, and and the callback to the fired zookeeper. Or yeah, was he a zookeeper? The fired person whose expired badge we have
Mhm.
carrying was a fun callback. I'm sure everyone else is going to have plenty of stars that are slipping my mind, but yeah, it's a really fun session.
Yeah, this one felt really fast paced. There was a lot going on. We had a lot of jumping around and moving around and going up elevators, and it was pretty fun. I really really liked the idea of the smoke being the spies, like the nano spies in the smoke. That was so clever. That was a really really good one. I loved Hijack stopping to do betting as a complication. That was very, I mean, it was so perfectly on point for Hijack because that was his whole deal, right? Wasn't he a gambler? Yeah, so that was a really good moment because I had forgotten about that until then. Um, the using the pinkies to frame Dr. Quantum was really really smart. And I really liked the cyclone, the wind cyclone that blew everybody and killed everybody. Thanks, Ghost Emperor. You're our buddy now.
He was impressed for a little bit, at least.
Yeah.
That may have faded away at this point.
We're still good at heists, right?
Yeah, this the dice were really like we got a lot of middle of the road success, and then right at the end, big spikes, a 12 and a 2. And so anti-star for the dice being dicks. But the consequences you were coming up with for what we were doing felt great, Mike. The way the session flowed. I really enjoyed Fix calling someone a bag of germs. I don't, that just tickled me. And Trip's arrogance right from the start. Leave it for your betters. Just such a good dynamic with the rest of the group because, uh, yeah, we have kind of now we have the whole uh, gamut of classes covered in our group, and having that tension in there is kind of fun. And Jane Doe, anytime Jane Doe pulls out the cape and does the Dracula hiss, I'm very pleased by just this Jetson robot acting like the full 1950s vampire thing. It's cute. Fun session.
Um, I appreciated the callback to the previous session of as you probably don't even know, my tongue was actually damaged not a few moments ago. I'm like, oh right, that did happen last session, but it's only like 10 minutes ago in the game. So that was I always like how Michael holds that kind of important stuff and does callbacks. Um, I liked Ben coming up with the idea that like the open eye socket would be colonized by nanobots. Like that was like I'm just like, oh gross. And the the typical blowing smoke in someone's face as a sign of disrespect becomes actually plot relevant. Um, Amanda uh not just the going, oh, we need someone who's smart, so I'll respec as someone who's got like reason. But then like and I'll be more of a vampire. I'll just be more of a vampire. Was good. And Mike, I don't know most of these characters. So like being able to like establish them like, okay, I
I
mean,
probably
I know
should have redescribed Trunga Tort for you. Just muscles on top of muscles, and some of them are probably surgically attached and may not actually be operable. But just a giant gargantuan brute. Yeah.
I got that from like his three lines of dialogue. Like I was like, okay, I think I get that guy.
Sure.
Yeah, there's lots of cool twists too.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I think I would like the most fun in this was like the complications and how we are kind of like all working on that and like some of the inadvertent uh yeah, the way that the things developed and yeah, the bag of germs thing, and giving me a reason why this character would not be delighted in what Fix was asserting. So yeah, it's always fun when the role playing just kind of like fosters that sort of like, okay, what happens if this? That's what we're looking for in these kind of games, right? So there's a lot of fun of that. The whole eye situation, slapping you so hard that your eye loses, like that's a really fun like sub thread in there. Um, I don't know how we're gonna get your eye back. Presumably there's a guard out there looking for it who has it at this point, so there is that. Um, that's going to be interesting to see. um, I'm really kind of eager to push like a few things here. Like I think the rivalry between Boraran and Jane Doe 2.0 is going to hit ahead, presumably soon. So that's going to be fun. I think we've got this wine distribution deal between Trip and Stugg Kibeo. It will be interesting to see how that pans out in a final showdown here. Um, and then, yeah, like the gambling aspect here of kind of planting some seeds there of like Stugg Kibeo and Hijack like sort of playing a game and a game that Hijack maybe didn't realize he was playing until he's in the thick of it with these betting slips. I think that there's some interesting stuff there that we can lean into. So I'm excited for the finale of this. Um, it'll be an interesting session next week because I think that'll be pretty quick. And so we'll be starting a new heist in the middle of the session, which is a sort of unique thing. Um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. That's what I got. Cool. Anything else before we sign off here? All right.
All good.
Well,
Let's make our escape.
thanks, y'all. Be plotting that escape. Yeah, that's all. See you next
That's
time.
it.
Thanks
Yep.
very much.
Bye.